when it comes to, even if we just sort of focus on energy, because I think that's a big one. So if you've got energy, you've got everything, you know, you're a bit clearer in the head.
That's so true. That's like the truest statement I've ever heard. If you've got energy, you've got everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So if we're sort of looking at, like how we conserve our energy, it's sort of, have we got good boundaries in place, like in terms of, like how we manage our calendar, how if, we're feeling tired and we can't take, 6 back-to-back clients or 8 or 12 back-to-back clients, in a day, can we reduce it? Can we do it in blocks so we give ourselves a break? Are we nourishing ourselves properly? So are we, or are we going for foods that are going to spike our blood sugar up and keep us come crashing down? So we need to make sure that we are paying attention to what we eat. So we're, lots of beautiful protein and healthy fats and, good forms of fiber. So lots of plants, fruit, brown rice, quinoa, all of those, whole foods. You know what healthy eating looks like, right?
Yeah, totally. It's one of the health eating's one of those things where it's like, you don't need to like research this. You don't need to take a course. You don't need advice. You know what to do. Stop avoiding it.
So
Yeah.
nourish yourself properly.
I love that.
Make sure you're drinking enough water because, it's again, yeah, I sent mine flying before. So mine is now in a massive puddle all over the floor.
Oh no.
That was another thing.
That's just pointing. Yeah, that's just topping off the morning. I love that. Of course.
The dog was happy and I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe that counts as the dog mopping the floor. Who knows?
Perfect.
But today that counts.
Yeah.
Or that we're drinking enough water, because often like that brain fog, like even if we're just a little bit dehydrated, that can impact brain fog. Are we, moving our body in a way that feels good? So, and I'm very big on movement, not as opposed to exercise, because guilty, have always, from the Les Mill days, go hard or go home. Like that was sort of the way what was instilled in me for exercising. So, loved F45, loved those high intensity sort of workouts. But, I would do that, get up at 5 in the morning, go off and do that, come home. And by lunchtime, I needed a nap.
Yeah.
So it was, and then the second I gave that up and switched it out for Pilates, all of a sudden, like it wasn't putting my body under more stress.
Yeah.
So so finding an exercise or a movement, way of moving that feels good for you. Like if that sort of high intensity stuff works for you and you feel great all day afterwards, awesome. It's amazing. But if it doesn't, if it knocks you around, choose something that's gentler and more restorative. So, even if it's walking or swimming or Pilates or yoga, they're much more beneficial for our adrenals, our stress response. Then eat is another one because it's amazing. So we wouldn't, jump in the car and go, you know what, I'm going to drive from Sydney to Perth, but I'm not putting any petrol in until we get to Alice Springs.
Yes.
Like our car, we wouldn't expect our car to run on empty. And yet we're quite okay, expecting ourselves to run on empty. So if you are low in energy, eat breakfast, please. Please, for the love of all things.
Yeah. It always surprises me when people like do that. My husband does this. He's like, oh, I didn't get to eat today. I'm starving. I was like, what do you mean you didn't eat today? I work from home, so I've eaten 17 times today. I have the reverse problem.
Exactly. I know. And I'm the same. I have clients who forget to eat and I'm like, I don't even understand what that means. It's the Labrador.
Yeah, totally.
But if you're low in energy, you need to be fueling your body. So this is where, again, having breakfast within 30 to 60 minutes of waking can make a huge difference in your energy levels later on in the day. Because I see women, who will get up, they'll have a cup of coffee. And if we think our cortisol levels are already naturally higher in the morning, and it's meant to be that way. So that's what gets us up and gets us going for the morning. Now, if our cortisol levels are already high and we're just putting coffee on top of that, we're sort of adding fuel to the fire. So we're spiking our cortisol levels, we're not hungry anymore because we just had that coffee. So we're running on empty until sort of 11, 12 in the morning. And then we might eat. And then this is where things start to go south. And this is where women eat all afternoon, or they haven't eaten much all day. They have dinner and then they're snacking all night. So they're going to bed with like blood sugar through the roof because they've just knocked off a block of chocolate or a packet of biscuits. And this is where it becomes really tricky in that sort of weight gain cycle. And that's a really key habit to break is, having breakfast before coffee and then stopping eating after dinner.